Yeah. I mean, it's really important that everyone is really in form now at the end of the year, just because there are so many events, right? We just finished up Asus ROG. We have TSL currently ongoing. We have DreamHack Last Chance, which I mean, these are the qualifiers for. So really, everyone has to kind of hunker down, make sure their practice pays off right here, right now in December, if they really want to make it and secure their spots in IEM Katowice 2021.
Yeah, and those are just the premier events you listed.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are organizing their own sort of stuff here for these players as well, but we'll get into that a little bit later, as we are now on Oxide LE. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner of the map. We have the blue Terran player. He's breathing, he's oxidizing, he is representing Good Game Gaming. GGG! We have Dream.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran, representing Team Afrika Freaks. It is TY.
And I gotta tell you something, Light. TY, this has finally been his year. Without a doubt.
Funnily enough, it's the year where, like, I feel like he's been the most established as a caster. And it's like, it's also the year where he's just like on fire in terms of performance.
I see a correlation there.
Yeah. There's a reason why Jim has been doing well for EPT Latin America as well. You know, it's all about that casting.
That it definitely is.
Looking at you, Rotterdam.
I mean, looking at you, Lambo? Question mark?
Yeah, Lambo. Good point. Yeah. There you go.
Hopefully that does translate to in-game. And, I mean, kind of does. I have nothing to back that up. I just have the correlations on people like TY.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, to be fair, when it comes to pro gamers, I know that they don't just devote their time to playing customs and playing ladder. Like, they also devote a lot of time to watching VODs and studying matches. And, like, that's something that TY, I imagine, just does while he casts, you know? So that's kind of where he diverts that time to when it comes to casting, and then the rest of the time he can just focus on playing. So it's really cool how I imagine how he's been able to find a balance between casting and playing.
Efficiency, man. That's what the game is all about. And TY, now that he's been able to, you know, sort out his training regimen, make it as efficient as possible, that's how you see that translating into StarCraft 2. Rip that Reaper.
Oh yeah, I was like, I had my mouth open like, oh my god, is he gonna get into the natural and deny the natural as well? Like, that Reaper got a surprising amount of damage done.
Really did. What was that? 2 SCVs? No, I think just a single SCV. But yeah, did delay the factory for a little while. And of course, took out the safety marine. Dream rallying a second Reaper in here. Won't be able to get delay here on much of anything really, but you know, just something to sort of keep TY busy back at home. Yeah.
You know, just kind of applying that pressure. Here comes a Hellion as well. Really just denying all the mining at the natural as well. Like, you know, there can't be any SCVs here at the risk of going down.
And while all this is happening, yeah, TY unable to get a scout off onto Dream. Not really like Dream is hiding much here, but still, it would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. Like, so far, he hasn't gone across the map at all whatsoever. Only just now finally sending his Reaper into the main base of Dream, where he can see the opening. Regardless, though, like, there isn't anything really to see. To be fair, that is information in and of itself.
That it is. All right. So TY, he gets a good look full of Dream's base. What is he thinking right now? There's a lot of possibilities here with this 1-1-1.
Yeah, definitely, as it looks like, oh, the Reaper does get denied, but I believe it did see the medevac coming out.
It did see the medevac coming out, and it might have heard the medevac loading up as well. So TY is not actually positioning himself in his main base. Getting ready over there in the natural. Does have a couple of Marines here for vision and to potentially deny anything he can.
Yeah.
But Helly's starting to go for a flank. This is important.
Oh, exactly. And they get right on top of the tank, so the tank can't fire on it at all, and it looks like TY should be able to clean this up.
Yeah, we'll clean out the Marines, but Dream is still trying to go for it. To be fair, it's only one tank, though. So again, these Hellions, they can jump right on top of it. The
I mean,
Viking here really shut down the medevac micro.
Yeah, exactly. Because of that Viking, that means all of this is going to be committed here, and we'll see how much damage Dream can really do.
The answer is not that much. Gets a couple SCVs and a couple Hellions, but that's it. You know, Liberator just about equalizing the worker damage and pulling all of these SCVs off of mining with it.
Yeah, exactly. In the end, it's kind of hard to say what was worth it. Again, losing a tank like that is kind of rough on the side of Dream as well as that medevac. But if we look at the, you know, overall like income or resources lost, it's more or less similar, the same.
Yeah, Dream losing a bit more gas, TY losing a bit more minerals. I feel like you definitely would rather lose the minerals than gas.
Oh yeah, again, definitely.
Players aren't, neither player is necessarily ahead of the other, but TY is looking to get ahead, pushing out with his Hellions as well as his Viking, almost getting the Raven.
Yeah, you have to be so careful with that Raven. Like, so often we talk about like air superiority, air control in TvTs, and TY already looking to gain that with that one Reaper, with that one Viking, 2 more on the way.
It's funny how just a single Viking can secure the air superiority here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, Dream has to be so careful with his Raven.
Just like so, a couple of auto turrets being thrown down. In the end, Dreams will stand strong, but that was the energy used on his Raven. He does soak up a lot of damage. I thought for sure it was going to go down.
Just barely staying alive. Meanwhile, another Raven joins the fray as well, but Dream has to be a little bit careful. He is getting caught a little bit on siege, and thankfully, I think is he turning back? Okay.
Yeah, turning back. It was just about the end of that assault, so yeah, Dream, he really has to think of round 2. He can't be overly aggressive here.
Yeah, that's what I was a little bit concerned of, because that's kind of what we know him for, right? Like, going for these big drops, these timings, these multi-prong attacks. But for the most part, TY has been able to defend quite well, to the point where it's like, all right, Dream, calm down, like, back off a little bit. You know, you don't want to lose too much, because otherwise you'll be so vulnerable to a counterattack.
Yeah, I think I kind of get where Dream is coming from doing all this. I mean, he's up against TY. Yeah. He is known as not only just like a tactical genius, but also a macro machine. Well, so that's Dream is really trying to get ahead.
Yeah, that's what it almost felt like. It felt like almost like Dream was desperate to deal some damage because he's up against TY, you know, like at a certain point. And yeah, you have to be so careful how you handle that. Meanwhile, TY is finally across the map, this time with many more Vikings. So it's going to be so difficult for Dream to get on top of these tanks with those Ravens.
Yeah, securing the air superiority here with the Vikings. Also making sure that he has the high ground vision to shell away at that main base. This is good for Dream. Gets to disable, and a couple of auto turrets will be able to shut down this assault. And not losing too much with this. The Vikings are still well alive, though, for TY. Along with this Raven. So that's shut down here for TY. He honestly didn't lose too much. So once again, we're seeing the players at about even positions. Yeah.
The only thing he really lost in that attack was he lost both of his Ravens, which, to be fair, is pretty huge. At the same time, though, TY, he only has one tank here. Like, there is a bit of an opportunity if Dream... Oh, no, never mind. This player here to defend it.
Yeah, you never want to be underestimating these Marines here. It has happened in the past. Sometimes players, you know, they just are focused on taking out the tanks. Forget that the actually Marines, they can do a lot of damage when they're bunched up like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, one tank can do so much if you can't get to it, right? And it just gets more and more value the longer it stays alive in an engagement. You do see Dream, he is trying to push through here. Again, it's going to be so difficult to really get like any kind of presence in the air when TY like has had the Viking lead for so long.
Yeah, it definitely is. And to be fair, that position on the high ground is decent for the tanks. I mean, the Vikings will definitely help out, but it's more of a neutralizer there. Dream, though, will be forced to back away. TY completely avoiding the main army of Dream over there. I feel like Dream is kind of getting out-dreamed here.
A little bit. I don't think things have really like tipped in scale for TY too much, but yeah, like Dream, he's just been trying to find all these opportunities and he just can't. TY's just not letting him.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing you gotta appreciate about watching a Dream game, right? Is that he is, you know, really trying to be aggressive, trying to come in. The tanks are on siege. The Marines are nowhere near in position to protect them. And again, TY still has this Raven up. He still has energy for one more disable at least.
Wow.
Catching Dream completely out of position.
Yeah.
Beautifully done here.
Just like that, so many tanks of Dreams full, the majority of the Marines as well. We do see Dream, like, he still has 3 tanks remaining, so it's going to be difficult for TY to continue to push on forward. But again, like a nice pick off there, a nice trade for TY.
Yeah, getting so many of those tanks, so much of those Marines, and yeah, this just gives TY so much momentum. We can already see what the army supplies are looking like. TY really establishing a foothold over here. And it's kind of containing Dream. Every time Dream positions his army, he needs to keep these tanks of TY in mind.
Definitely. To be fair, as all this has been happening, Dream did get his 4th base on location, so he will have that economic advantage over TY. He just has to defend long enough for him to, you know, secure his 4th and then, you know, catch back up in terms of army supply.
Yeah, and as a wise man once said, a 4-base contain isn't really a contain unless you're planning on being extremely greedy. Which TY likely isn't. He's doing what TY is supposed to do. The Liberators start to come in, and again, this is what you absolutely want to do once you secure the air superiority. Anti-armor missile being thrown down. Not too many units caught in that.
Yeah,
I feel like TY was really just trying to see if he could end the game then and there, but couldn't quite.
It looked a little bit greedy for his Raven to dive in that deep, but it looks like, oh, he does force it on siege.
Yeah, this is the real value of the Liberators right now. The Marine Force of TY starting to get a little bit sandwiched, but the Marines of Dream do get caught in the crossfires of all of these tanks. Still holding the aerial superiority. I almost said the hair superiority. That's kind of funny to think about. GG's call, and TY, you've been taking game number 1. Getting one step closer to that qualifying match.
GG, and that was insane just because it felt like for the majority, if not all of that game, Dream was playing to TY's music, you know? Like, TY was in complete control. Like, just the angles, the engagements that he kept going for, you know, his army composition as well, going for those earlier Vikings. Sure, like, Dream did find a little bit of damage early on, but ever since then, like, TY, just his army positioning was beautiful. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, this is kind of why we consider TY to be kind of a, how should I put this light? He's a positional master. I'm trying to come up with a metaphor. A chess master? Question mark?
Positional god, if you will.
There we go. If he played Go, he would, I don't know. I guess Go isn't really a positional game, is it? It's more of a tempo based game. Which, I mean, as we saw in game number 1, TY, he's a master of making his opponents play at his tempo. But we'll see if things change here on game number 2, coming in on Submarine LE. We all live in the LE submarine, but some of us thrive. Over here in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, the blue Terran player coming out from South Korea. We saw him, specifically we, on this channel a lot throughout the week. Let's see if he can bring it all the way home and start to turn things around. Representing Good Game Gaming, GGG, we have Dream.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Submarine LE, we have the South Korean Terran player, the other South Korean Terran, representing Team Afrika Freaks. It is TY.
I just noticed he's also repping that into the clan tag.
Oh yeah.
And this isn't... And it's funny because Afrika Freaks actually does have a clan tag.
It does.
Like, for the longest time, Korean teams didn't have one, but yeah, Afrika Freaks and NV both have clan tags.
Yeah, well, I mean...
So, what's the story here, TY?
Yeah, specifically the Kespa teams didn't have one, and Afrika isn't the Kespa team.
That's true.
But yeah, what's going on, TY? You know, Armani, he has the, I'm just saying, he has the clan tag.
Yeah, Armani has the clan tag. He was calling out Stats who are also not having the Afrika Freaks clan tag. Big DRG, when he was on Afrika Freaks, also did that.
God damn it, TY.
DRG,
Rip the LG. Calm down. Like, to be fair, I haven't seen how he did in his series and how he's doing in this bracket. But, you know, he's still here. He's still alive.
He's still here. He's still doing DRG things.
He be breathing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if he's breathing anymore. We're not on Oxide.
Yes, we aren't on Oxide. Surprisingly, we are here on Submarine. Somehow this map made it through the vetoes, bearing in mind this is the best of 3. So yeah, neither of these players really shying away from this map.
Yeah, it's funny. Out of the 6 other possible maps, I mean, Pills of Gold was potentially vetoed. Jagannatha, okay, I can kind of understand Jagannatha in a TvT. Don't want, you know, the game to go on for too long. Romanticide as well. I mean, even for a third choice, you know, they would rather have Submarine instead of a lot of these other maps.
Yeah. Really interesting. I mean, to be fair, at least when it comes to Dream, we've seen him, you know, play on this map quite a number of times. I guess I'm a little bit more surprised from TY. You know, he's like, yeah, let's go for a shorter map.
TY is so confident. He's saying the Dream, you know? You think the shorter map would work to your advantage because you want a quick rush distance for you to, you know, get your Reapers out or get a bunch of drops or something, or how Dream plays. Instead, TY is saying, you try to do that, I'm going to proxy you. You dare me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to be fair, like, he didn't, right? Like, you know, for the most part, this is pretty standard TvT. No one really took advantage of the fact that this is a shorter map distance for some kind of proxy or something like that. But to be fair, like, there are other ways that this map does affect the game when it comes to the base positionings, when it comes to just the rush distance in general.
Yeah, in general, that is. But when you mentioned about base positionings and that as well, it also kind of ties into tank positionings, right? It's a little bit more awkward on Submarine. There's, you know, there's not a whole lot of obvious high grounds. There's always, obviously, there's a lot of, you know, places to sort of position your tanks to force your opponent to go to sort of move into there. But there's also the option that your opponent says, you know what, I'm just not going to go there. I'm going to go the other way around.
Yeah, definitely.
There's always another path on Submarine.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long for players to rotate their armies because it's so short. We do see Dream once again is trying to go for this drop.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Dream, but it seems like his go-to in the TvT matchup is going to be this 4 Marine tank drop. Going to be losing that tank. That is painful this early on.
Oh my.
Not only does this shut that down for Dream, not only is that an expensive loss, this gives TY all of the momentum, all of the tempo.
Exactly. And like, it's not like TY was expecting this. Like, unlike the previous game where TY, he was able to scout the drop earlier on and prepare for it in game number 1. Game number 2, like, he didn't even scout the opening. He didn't have his army necessarily in position, but as soon as Dream went in, just TY just shut him down. I'm
in awe right now, like. I mean, I always said Dream, he plays a style that I wish I could play, but TY, he is just a master.
When it comes to TY, there's no wishing involved. You know it's never gonna happen.
Oh, we found it out.
Oh god. And yeah, with that, like, there's so much momentum in TY's favor. Dream, like, sure, he's out here in the center of the map with a couple of units, again, you know, keeping an eye on the army if it ever decides to move out. But when it does, like, Dream, yes, it's gonna be in trouble.
A lot of it. Which is why I do kind of like that he's, you know, taking a little bit of a, I wouldn't really call it a gamble, but a little bit of a risk to try to, you know, get his economy up and running, going for a much quicker third base than TY. If he's able to keep that alive, which is always possible in Submarine, he is going to be having quite the economic advantage. But again, we'll see if it comes to pass, because TY, he is getting ready to apply some pressure on Dream.
Yeah, if Dream is able to defend, then he will be able to utilize that economic advantage, right? As you were saying, like, this is something that he needs to go his way, getting that faster third CC. But because TY is pushing across the map, like, Dream, I don't see him landing it anytime soon. I mean, he does, to be fair, he does put the army in the center of the map.
Which is another reason why he should be landing that base anytime soon.
Yeah.
But already positioning himself, real good use of the main base for those tanks. Now both players are on 2 double Raven. TY has the air superiority for the time being, but Dream, he does have the defender's advantage. He is pumping out his own Vikings 2 at a time.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, there was a bit of a drop in the natural of TY. So Dream did some damage. You know, he killed 9 SCVs. That's definitely a good start. He is ahead in terms of that worker count, and we'll see if TY is able to break it. Oh my God, he's on siege.
He did get caught on siege, using up all of the disables over here, all of the Raven energy. But here comes Dream, forced to pull the boys though, and just like that, Dream's economic advantage, it is gone.
Exactly. Jesus, like Dream, sure, he just killed 9 SCVs, but he at the cost of 19 SCVs just to barely hold it as natural.
Yeah, it looked super scary there for a moment as well. He was barely cleaning that up, and TY, he still has some tanks in very key areas. He still has the aerial superiority. How does that happen, Light? With what?
Yeah, even despite like being forced to land the Vikings to defend, like he keeps the majority of them alive. Again, because of that, it's so difficult for Dream to really engage with his Banshees to try and avoid those Vikings.
And now TY well aware of where the third base has actually landed. Once again, just making use of these Vikings, trying to snipe out a Raven here and there. And yeah, I mean, once TY took control, took tempo in the early game, he never really gave it up. It looked for a second that Dream was going to be, you know, taking control back, but did not come to pass. TY, he's still containing Dream on these 3 bases.
Yeah. To be fair, Dream, like, he has established his third base, more or less. You know, he has been able to land it, he is mining from it, and TY hasn't found an opportunity to really deny that in any way, shape, or form. So Dream still has that going for him. He is down in terms of those workers, and it does trade Viking for Viking. TY just kind of forced to stay defensive here until he has enough where he feels comfortable to push out, but team just leaves. TY just leaves.
Yeah, just regroup. See what we can get done in the next phase. Dream decides to take this as an opportunity to counterattack. He knows he's ahead in the upgrades. He knows he has the higher marine count and still comparable tank count. One thing he's lacking a little bit in is the Vikings, but it all depends on what kind of battle this is going to be, right? If he's caught in siege, the Vikings aren't really going to matter that much.
Yeah, definitely.
If he's able to position himself well enough, and then the air superiority is going to make all the difference.
To be fair, I am so surprised by just how far ahead Dream is in terms of those upgrades. 1-1 is already done. 1-1 is still like just over halfway complete for TY. So there is, you know, a small window of opportunity where Dream can try and take advantage of that. At the end of the day, though, like it does come down to those tank lines. And even if your upgrades, if your Marines are superior, like it doesn't necessarily matter if your tank is sieged and you're not, right?
Yeah, fun fact, a Marine can only survive, what, 1 tank shot
God.
most.
Yeah, exactly. They don't survive too long against tanks.
Yeah. And now we can really see what the advantage of air superiority shows. Because again, these Liberators, absolutely key here. Forcing Dream to unsiege and allowing TY to sort of push in. To be fair, as you said, Dream does have the advantage, but never mind. TY just caught up on upgrades.
Yeah, 1-1 just finished again. TY just had to defend long enough for his upgrades to really kick in to equalize with his opponents. And now, as you said, with that air superiority, he forces Dream back. Like, he can't really utilize his tanks offensively without, you know, a higher Viking count. And now we do see TY is going for a bit of a drop.
Yeah, nice little double drop here just to deny this 4th base. Dream setting up outside of TY's sort of periphery vision.
Ooh, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like Dream is in position to just barely defend that fourth base, doesn't force a cancel.
Yeah, really nice of Dream to, you know, recognize that he didn't have to cancel that, just send the army in, chase this away, send another SCV to resume the building. TY starting to get a 4th base of his own, will have to float it over, so in the end, while it's going to be finishing up quicker than Dreams, I have a feeling that they're going to start mining from one another at about equal to the same time.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, Dreams is delayed a little bit, but you know, it's on location. Meanwhile, TY has to float his over. You know, we do see they are constantly scanning each other, trying to make sure they are, you know, that they don't get caught unawares by like the main army.
Yeah, that is really the key to TvT. It's all about the positioning, not only in the tanks, but in the main army as well. where where you place your Marines. Are you gonna have enough of a buffer for these tanks and all of that? Dream sort of. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, just time and time again, we've seen TY just find these like insane opportunities where he catches Dream unsieged just for 1 second, and as soon as that happens, like TY, he just dives on it. So Dream, he has to be so careful with where he pre-sieges his tanks, where he scans, where his army moves and positions.
Yeah, and that is a decent tank line over there. And finally, Dream has been able to take air superiority away from TY, but TY's not willing to give that up, keeping his Marines in position right in front of his Vikings, so Dream cannot be taking too much of a lead. Dream starting to push in, but actually forced to siege up his tanks over there, and TY sieging into high ground, gets a couple of volleys off on these Marines. TY unable to push up on that ramp, but it doesn't really seem to matter. Here comes some disables. Beautiful anti-armor.
Exactly. Almost every single tank gets disabled, so TY is trying to take this opportunity to dive on top of them, and it looks like there aren't enough Marines to protect them.
No, there were not. Great concave coming in here. TY coming in from multiple angles. And in the end, Dream, I mean, his Marine count was starting to get thinned out. Could not face the Marines of TY.
Yeah, exactly. Just couldn't do it. Meanwhile, it looks like TY is going to give up this position. He's won the battle, so he does back off. At the same time, Dream is getting ready for a drop. There is some stack defense here. Oh, there's even reinforcements, so Dream has to be careful when he decides to do so. Oh, God.
Like so. Should be able to take out a couple of SCVs. No tanks to siege as of yet. Actually, only taking out one.
Oof.
Now backing away. Dream's Vikings looked a little bit exposed, but very quickly pushing them back behind anti-air.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like TY has rotated away from that third base location, looking to try and find his luck to the north at that fourth base. And ooh, Dream, the tanks are exposed.
So exposed right now. Starting to go for some of these parabombs. I tried to combine bombardment and parachute or paradrop.
I was about to say
parabomb, and I was like, wait a minute, that's already a term.
Paratroopers. I get paratroopers. I get where you were going with it.
Yeah. Yes, paradrop is what I'll stick with.
Oh, God. So TY, he does end up losing 2 tanks, and it does look like Dream, he is establishing himself a little bit better here, but at the same time, oh my God, TY, he is getting close to max out. To be fair, both are. 3-3 is around the same for both players.
And so they're about to be maxed out here, like Dream really focusing on his Ravens, but I think the question now that I usually have is, who's going to get BCs first?
We'll see if we get there. At the moment, both players do have that double Raven production. Again, Ravens with their spells are going to be so useful in this situation. And we've seen time and time again, they typically go Mass Raven and then into BC in the late game. Are we going to get there? Maybe. It's going to be difficult to pull that off on a map like on Submarine, where like armies are forced to clash with each other because like there's not much room to maneuver.
Yeah, you can't quite have that technical positioning battle that you really can on other maps like Romanticide and what have you. Coming in with some of these disables, does get a nice concave on some of these tanks, but didn't account for the ones that were behind the shrubbery.
Oh my God.
Dream did manage to take out a decent number of those tanks, but lost a bunch of his Marines in the process. And sure, Marines are kind of expendable, but here comes TY with the rest of his forces, gets a concave on all of these tanks of Dream. And just like that, I mean, TY takes out just as many tanks as he's lost, and he's reset the Marine count for Dream.
Exactly. I was about to say, like, they both end up losing, a decent amount of tanks, but as you said, TY, he does still have that advantage in terms of the Marines. He is forced to unsiege, going to be losing a bit of health here on a couple of these other tanks, but yeah, TY, he is repositioning here to the south.
Wow, that tank's still alive.
Jesus Christ.
At this point, if you're TY, maybe just drop a mule and get it repaired. Just to really say, hey, Dream, you want this tank? Something along those lines.
But it looks like a couple of these tanks are going to be forfeit to the south. I'm really surprised that TY didn't reinvest into something like Liberators. It seems like that's something that he doesn't have any interest in at the moment. He's more concerned with his Raven count.
Yeah, I kind of get it. I mean, he is not really confident in being able to have the aerial superiority here, and especially because Dream is starting to make a lot of missile turrets to just really secure his anti-armor, or anti-air rather.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this is a really nice pickoff. Like, again, the Marines are not here to really defend this tank line, so it looks like Dream will take all those out. Meanwhile, all those Marines were here to the south looking to do the same.
Yeah, beautiful anti-armor being thrown down here for Dream. Forces TY all the way back, and in the end, TY unable to go for that base.
Yeah, exactly. And what is there left to defend this planetary? There's nothing here, so it looks like Dream should be able to shell away at this planetary without anything to worry about. Meanwhile, there are still plenty of defenses here defending the third of Dream.
And you know what? Fun fact, you can't lift up a planetary.
You cannot.
But we are at the point now where TY is starting to wrap around and is starting to open up a little bit at this sort of third base location. That base is about mined out, but it's important to note, it's also an orbital command. There are 2 orbital commands right now, which are invaluable right now for Dream.
Yeah.
Really wants to be relying on mules, right? And SCVs, Dream just keeps on hitting these anti-armor missiles. And it's doing a lot, but TY without any fear, starting to move in.
Oh my god, yeah, just barely out of tank range is able to take out that CC.
And now he backs right on out. That was such a good bluff there for TY. Dream, he was afraid to push into that because he thought that there were tanks in position, sieged up to take out his Marines if he tried to move in. No, the tanks were really far back.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really surprised that Dream, he was that tentative with his army. To be fair, they do trade like base for base, and at the same time, this third base location isn't necessarily that valuable because it has, for the most part, been mined out. You know, only a couple of patches remaining, but immediately he does retake it with his main.
Yeah, in the end, it's one of those things where, you know, which is more important to take out? Is it more important to take out these orbital commands and make sure that Dream is unable to scan, unable to get mules, or is it more important to get one of these fresh bases?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, and it looks like, oh, Dream has to be careful again. His army is pretty overstimmed, or he even gets anti-armor missiled.
Yeah, it does have a couple of tanks there in the back line, so if he wants to force TY into an engagement, it will go his way, but TY not taking that bait.
Yeah, again, like, there are no tanks here for TY, so he has to be so careful with how he engages this, and it looks like he's going to be forced to cancel his base. Meanwhile, he is trying to multi-prong and hit the lower hand, the southern half of the map, but there are just so many tanks here. He does pick off one for free.
Yeah, and he's starting to move in with the rest of these Marines, or, okay, he's pausing there for a second. But now starting to move in and will be able to really distract Dream. Meanwhile, TY, he hasn't been able to take that northern base, but just look at the south of the map. Really starting to encroach on the Dream's territory with these bases. Another beautiful couple of disables. And look at all this energy available on TY's Ravens.
I'm just waiting for him.
A lot available for Dream as well.
Yeah, they both have such a high Raven count, so much energy on those Ravens as well. I'm really waiting for them to utilize them, and it looks like for the most part, TY has been relying on his Ravens to help deal with the tanks, kind of foregoing his own tank count as a result.
I like what TY is doing. He is just, you know, trying to hit one area and then back away, force Dream to chase a much smaller force than the rest of his main army, which he just sends to another part of the map that he can really start to do damage on. Takes out the entire siege line in this area, will allow TY to finally get that northern base.
Yeah, and it looks like, you know, TY, he is applying pressure to that northern base. At the same time, Dream is going to be able to take out the southern planetary.
That he will. The rest of the army will just about get cleaned up here, though. TY losing quite a number of SCVs, but again, we're at the point in the game where these Terran players, they want to rely more on their orbital commands to get those wheels down. TY actually investing into Neo Seal Frame. You don't always see that, but honestly, why not?
If you see it, it's typically in a TvT, and yeah, again, it feels like Dream has been coming out a little bit more on top, especially because he does have that northern base. You know, he does have this 5th base. Meanwhile, TY, he did, you know, just lose 2. He is trying to expand as best he can.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is now that he is actually free to expand in those locations. You know, he had so much pressure applied on him earlier on that he could not get him out, but now it's, you know, cast off. In a sense, TY is the one with the active army, the one who is looking to sort of deny the basis here of Dream.
Yeah, definitely. And again, Dream, he's so on point with using that anti-armor on the Marines of TY, and that does force him back.
What I'm worried about now for TY is he doesn't seem to have a lot of tanks here, and in fact, not really remaking them. And I mean, Mass Marine, they can work out quite a lot in late game TvT. It just gives you so much mobility, so much flexibility, but not when there are that many tanks out for your opponent.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier where TY, he has given up on tanks completely. He's relying on his Ravens to disable the tanks of Dream to make sure they just don't come into play at all in any of these engagements. So TY, he's opting to go for a more maneuverable army and relying on his micro to make sure he shuts down all the tanks first, and then his bio cleans up.
And no, it can definitely work. It's just, you know, more of a risk here.
Oh yeah. Again, it's a little more micro intensive.
It definitely is, but especially considering that TY does not have the aerial superiority. Almost losing a couple of his Ravens there. Now he's moving in and will be able to pick off a couple of these tanks. But that's just about all he can do here in this third base location. Take out the tanks and not much else.
Yeah, there's an opportunity here. Again, these tanks are so exposed, and the entirety of the army of Dream was forced to the south, but TY, he doesn't take advantage of that. He does back off in the end. He was a little bit too slow, and Dream is here just in time to protect them.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, TY, while Dream sent his entire army south, TY also sent his entire Raven south. And again, this is what he really wants to rely on in this tankless TvT style. Nice little bits of anti-armor missile. I feel like Dream, I don't know, it's like he just keeps pelting TY with water balloons.
Yep, he just doesn't let TY dry up, you know, it's just always wet.
That's kind of the perfect analogy there. Like, it's not really doing too much against TY, but it's annoying. Means that TY, he can't do certain things that he wants to do.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like they are trading a little bit. You know, the southern half of the map, TY, he tries to go for an engagement. There are plenty of tanks to defend, so TY can't really do much here. At the same time, ooh, Dream does push TY back as well to the north.
I was starting to get to the point where TY is hemorrhaging quite a bit of losses here. Dream has mostly been just losing, you know, mineral-intensive units. And as you said, now that he actually has this anchor, he has these tanks available to him, he can slowly start to back TY into a corner. Or TY doesn't quite have that ability. He wants to fight on even ground, but Dream just not letting him.
Oh, but he does find, you know, does pick off a tank here and there. And again, like this style from TY, it feels so difficult to pull off on Submarine specifically. Like maybe on a much larger map, you can pull apart your opponent and really abuse the maneuverability. And oh my god, he's gonna commit to this fight.
He does get to disable all of these tanks, and look at these Marines really starting to come in. This is why you want the Marine advantage. Wow. Beautiful concave, and TY crushing that engagement.
Exactly, like it doesn't even matter how many tanks you have, as long as all the interference matrices go off, then it does come down to the superior Marine count, and TY takes full advantage of that.
It takes a lot of micro and a lot of positioning to be able to get all those disables off, but once you're able to do that, that's all you need. You only need to succeed once.
Oh yeah, exactly, and it takes so much longer for Dream to rebuild that tank count to try and catch back up, and now as a result, like TY, he does have so much momentum going for him. He's almost maxed out once again. Meanwhile, Dream, he's struggling to max out.
Yeah, hitting his third base location once more. This is the last of the orbital commands. No, I think Dream still has one more left, but even still, that's a lot of energy he doesn't have available to him. The Ravens finally coming in, throwing out auto turrets, actually from Dream's side. And it's just enough DPS to chase TY away, but even still, look at the army supply difference right now. Look at the minimap and how these red blobs are just making their way across.
Exactly. I think what's important about that minimap, mate, TY took one of Dream's bases here to the south. Like, he has both center location bases, so he has so much income and...
way too many Marines. Man, we've gone OP. GG is called. And TY is going to be making it to this qualifying match, going up against, drum roll please, as I scroll down Wikipedia, winner of Parting versus Cure.
Oh, interesting. And congratulations, GG. TY is one of the first to make it to a qualifying match. It does look like, oh my god. Mate, everyone, exclamation mark B in the chat. Look at the very bottom of the bracket. Of the upper look at what's happening. Look at what just happened.
The very bottom of the upper bracket.
Yeah.
saying that a couple of times fast. Nice is completely on fire today, taking out Ragnarok 2-0, and then taking out Rogue 2-1. Now facing another Protoss player in Solar, and Nice, he's just warmed up.
Nice just took out Ragnarok and Rogue. To be fair, when we talk about like the best Zergs in Korea, it's Rogue and Solar. They go like kind of hand in hand at the moment. But Nice, like his PvZ is looking to be on fire. Like what the hell is happening down there?
But on the flip side here, Light, Solar taking out Creator 2-0, then taking out Zest 2-1. Sure, Creator and Zest maybe not quite on the same level this year, at least as someone like
Nice.
Ragnarok. Yeah, someone not as nice, but yeah, that's still not something I would. That's still not something to scoff at for Solar. So that's going to be an insane ZVP going on over here on Rotterdam's channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Rotterdam should be covering that, and that is insane. Nice is on fire right now, somehow knocking out a player like Rogue, and that's insane. It looks like Solar and Nice are currently duking it out in that qualifying match. It looks like it's actually just about to start.
Yeah. So yeah, we thought that TY was going to be the first player in a qualification match, but no, turns out it was either Solar or Nice.